Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Baldur's Gate 3. As today, we've crashed, so now I guess it's time to burn. We've already explored the bulk of the facility, though I will say, apparently I was slightly mistaken on which room was which, because this down here is actually the infirmary. So that begs the question of what this up here might be. So I guess that's where we're looking next. Though, before we get into that, I should also note that I did do some off-screen trading. I sold our current batch of vendor trash. And I picked up these. The Knife of the Undermountain King and the Gloves of Dexterity. Haven't decided what to do with them just yet, but in the short term, I've got the gloves on Auric, because it is a notable step up for him. It's a boost to AC, initiative, and savings throws. Though long-term, it'll almost certainly end up going to someone else. And then for the knife, we can apparently benefit from that crit boost. And it apparently will stack with Spell Sniper once we pick it up at level 8. But I've held off for the time being because we've still got multiple pieces of lightning gear equipped. But that is something to think about in the future. We'll see what other gear we've scrounged up by the time we actually finish this place. Speaking of which...
In time. I'd expect to see 15 eggs at the very least.
Right, a hatchery. Interesting. Filled with acid and noxious fumes. Sure, why not? Notice to Varsh Koku. The message has been inscribed in the common tongue, because of course, why wouldn't it be? Koku, a new batch is arriving soon. If you're still holding out hope for the hatching of that final egg, give up. If it can't hatch on its own, it's not worthy of joining our ranks. Destroy it and move on. Kithrak Therizin. Oh, I see. Interesting. Okay, so that's our obvious in on a potential peaceful way to acquire the one apparently remaining Gith egg. Though, of course, even if we can acquire it peacefully here, that does still beg the question of whether it's appropriate to hand it off to Esther afterwards. Kobold Scout. Dead. Locked in a restricted cage.
A trap. Time to dance.
Oh, interesting. Okay, well. It would appear the massive pool of hazardous acid and poison fumes is also trapped. Which I guess does make sense if this is their hatchery, I suppose. Also, interesting to see that we're finally finding some new outfits here. Though obviously I'm pretty happy with my drow casual wear I picked up somewhere.
Is Sticker permitted to view the birthing pools now? These are strange times. Step carefully while here. Our hatchery is protected by lethal safeguards. I do not wish to pick your remains from them.
Well, if you pointed out where they were, I'd have a much lower chance of actually setting them off.
Amusing. You may speak to the Varsh if you wish, but stay away from the egg. There will be no second warning.
I mean, I wasn't joking, but sure. Fair enough. Varsh Koku. Okay, so that's who we want to talk to then. And there's our egg right out there in the midst of the acid and poison. Since, as we all know, Gith are notoriously immune to both.
Come on now. It's time to come out.
Obvious alcove over here. Feels like that's probably worth investigating. Though the acid, gas, and hidden traps are apt to make that pretty hazardous.
Looks like a trap.
Right, like that. We do have potential jump paths, though. And I mean, given relative positioning here, it really does feel like that rear alcove is apt to potentially provide alternate access to the rear tunnels. There has to be an alternate means of getting in there, aside from recovering that crystal from Kithrak Therazin.
No time to rest.
Come on, guys. Try and keep up here. Let's chat up Koku.
You can tell Kithrak Therazin that my position has not changed. The egg requires more time. Furthermore... Oh. I was not expecting an istic. What brings you to my hatchery?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm just one of the local mercenaries. But clearly you were expecting someone else. What's got you scrambling?
Someone with orders from our commander to destroy this egg. Almost all of the eggs in its clutch have hatched. We await only one more, which is taking its time.
Failure at the first hurdle of existence. Most caretakers would crush it and be done.
Most caretakers would not give the child its fair chance. But I shall. There could be greatness in that shell.
You note that the hope in his voice is tinged with weariness. It's the voice of a man who's fought the inevitable for a long time.
I've got to say, most Gith would embrace the opportunity to just get this over easy. But you seem more emotionally attached to the fate of this one egg. Any particular reason?
Not all that arrive late are weak. I created this entire hatchery, despite being the last of my clutch to hatch. They almost drowned me in the hatching pool, if it wasn't for the Vash of my clutch. This one deserves the same chance.
Wow, yeah, that is certainly fair. It would be a shame to shell it short. But what if the local leaders decide it's not cracked up to their standards?
Kithrak Therazin will give orders to destroy it. She will say it's a weakling. I'll give it a while longer. And if it doesn't hatch, it will have proven her right.
You know what, Koku? You seem like a surprisingly cool guy for a Gith. I'm gonna be straight with you. I'm an outsider. I could help remove this thing from your clutches. I mean, I can't guarantee it'll survive, but I could at least offer a potential escape hatch.
You? What do you know about Gith Yankee child rearing? Still, the captain's due for an inspection any day now. And if she sees it here... Tell me, what will you do with it if I entrust it to you?
Oh, shoot. Well, you know, I would have preferred to be a bit straighter with you on this, but, probably best to avoid anything that sounds like it might be poaching. I mean, look, Koku, I'm going to be as straight as I can be with you here. I don't really have a long-term plan. I'm mostly just trying to help that thing avoid its looming expiration date. I'll do my best to find it a safe home.
Do you think the Sword Coast is littered with creches? That you found this one was unlikely enough. But you've a spirit about you that's quite inspiring. Perhaps even equal to the challenge. I can no longer ignore that Kithrak Therazin's patience has its limits. Very well. Here. Take these. They will aid your approach to the egg.
Oh. And traps pinged. Thank you. Oh yeah, look at that. They've got repulsion mines on all the jump surfaces. That is actually very helpful, otherwise that would have been a pending disaster. And then he also gave us a pair of boots. Varsh Koku's boots. Grants Caretaker's Care. Acidic surfaces don't affect you, and you are resistant to acid damage. Though the leather is slick with acid, the corrosive liquid doesn't seem to damage the boots, nor does it penetrate. Ooh, okay. Well, that's a very useful addition to our tool chest. Thank you. With obvious applications here, though only for one character at a time. And we do still have to worry about the guards. Koku himself might be giving his blessings for this, but I imagine they would react much more negatively if they saw us skulking about.
Wonder if the gods are watching me.
So let's take the obvious intended route here, and we'll
On I go.
clear these mines here, which will open up a jumping path straight up the middle.
Come on now.
A good distance from both guards. I'd also love to investigate that alcove, but that feels like it would be much more problematic, since that would be right in that guard's perception zone. Same with the dead kobold. So that we'll hold off on until after we see how things play out in the infirmary.
Off I go.
Since obviously if we end up fighting the whole place, that kind of renders our caution a moot point. Let's make sure we don't have traps on the other side.
What is this place?
Okay, right, yeah, so he definitely did not reveal the subaquatic traps, just the ones on the more blatant jumping paths. Which actually does make that nook over there much more problematic.
Fighting a battle already, and it's not even born yet.
Alright, let's pull Shadow back. We'll have Oryx snatch the egg. Take some personal responsibility. Also, I'm assuming it'll trigger an event, so we want our main for that.
What to do? Never wanted the easy path.
Well, I would be curious if Lae'zel also has special interactions with it.
Faith will guide me.
But then again, given her harsh views on Gith society, I'm not sure I'd really trust her with it. Not unattended.
Just out of view.
Please come out.
Nah, we'll solo this.
Can't risk being in open view. Time to press ahead.
Step carefully.
Oh, shit.
There's a trap.
Right. Okay, wow. That was super close.
Large green egg with an uneven shell. You can see a vague outline of something within it.
Yeah, let's not dilly-dally. Grab and go. Away! We're just going to port out of here, but I would like to chat up Koku on the way out. I see Lae'zel's feeling chatty as well, but that'll have to wait. Yeah, I'm sure she has some very, very strong thoughts on this whole thing.
You've got the egg, haven't you? Be on your way then. Before I change my mind.
Yep, fair enough. Farewell, my friend. Just keep that sunny side up. And let's get a look at this thing. Githyanki egg. A large egg with a soft, almost see-through shell, protected with iron bands. A Githyanki child stirs within. Iron bands? That is super weird. Lae'zel?
This place is enlightening. My own creche, cRPG, is remote and sunless, cloaked in the silence of wild space. My Savage would find this one altogether too genial.
Right. Of course, you do seem to have much harsher expectations of your fellow Gith. The practices your kind use towards their own young, the training room, the hatchery, is that commonplace amongst your kind?
My own Savage would never have threatened a youngling. A waste of time and energy. The pupils themselves culled the weak from their ranks. I myself felled 4 of my own classmates once cRPG had 100 times circled to rill.
Oh, good, right, of course, yes. Well, that is certainly something to... Can I ask why? Like, what was the purpose of killing your fellow students?
Survival. My people have no use for cowards. Every trainee that I slayed was either too weak to withstand the lessons, or was cocky enough to pick a fight they could never win. They underestimated me, so they paid the price. The Githyanki are only as powerful as their weakest warrior. Drakiith Devenzir, the termination of the frail, strengthens us.
Right, sure. I mean, to be absolutely fair, their evil queen aside, they are living in the abyss, which isn't exactly a paradise. That actually begs another question. Given the turnover rate, wouldn't you normally expect a Gith creche to have more than just a single egg? How many do these clutches usually contain?
cRPG's clutch held 3 dozen eggs, more or less. Though I've learned of creches that harbored 100.
Right, so then it's definitely a bad sign this one has so few. You know, I'm accustomed to the idea of eggs being laid amongst my own kind, I assume. I don't know how it works with Dragonborn, but I'm less accustomed to seeing humanoid races like yours laying eggs. How exactly did that come to be?
Humanoid. How I despise the term. Githyanki are quite superior to humans. Our biology slates state that Githyanki came to lay eggs after we escaped Illithid enslavement and took to the astral plane. It's an asexual process, a favorable change by any estimation. Hideous to imagine a life where I couldn't partake in the pleasures of sex without the looming threat of bearing children.
Wow, Lae'zel, I'm not going to lie, that is a lot to unpack. I mean, obviously, I guess you're amphibious. That would make sense, but I never really thought of you as being humanoid horny toads? Or Githanoid, sorry, which honestly really just kind of sounds more like a description of your overall demeanor. Just for my own edification, how exactly does this all work?
Shukiani. Githyanki chosen by Vlakith herself to bear young. The Queen assigns when and where they must lay, and how many eggs they must bear. The Shukiani pass their eggs in the material plane. In the astral, time barely passes. It is a meticulous process, carefully timed so that the eggs hatch at once.
Oh, I see. Well, that is fascinating. I mean, aside from just, like, logistically being really weird that Vlakith would take a personal interest in when and where new Gith are born to that degree, it does immediately open the door to other huge questions, like why would Vlaakith then presumably be deliberately neglecting this particular creche? I have more questions.
Go on then.
Given your own personal experiences and general expectations of Gith society, I imagine you must have very strong opinions about the egg situation?
An unhatched Githyanki egg should be the burden of a Vash, not a warrior, whether ascended or otherwise. And yet, I'm drawn to the warmth of it. A child of Gith and a servant of Vlaakith grows within. Keep it close. Perhaps in our care, it might yet hatch. And don't you dare pass it to that lunatic woman prowling the mountain pass.
Oh, there's a thought. Could we actually find a better home for it? Could we? Well, I mean, I have to imagine. I mean, I'm fine not giving it to Esther. I very explicitly never told her I would. I'm just hard-pressed to imagine what else we could actually do with it. I mean, is there an Auntie Lae'zel arc we could potentially pursue? Because I would love to see that. What about that disc we got from that youngling back in the training hall? You certainly seem to have strong opinions on that as well.
Your mind connects with Lae'zel's, and together you envision the Githyanki disc.
Another part of the Orpheus tale. This one has been translated to Common.
I don't suppose you'd like to regale me. I've already read it, but I'd love to hear your take on it.
Fine. The Prince of the Comet, Part 2. The Prince of the Comet, Orpheus himself, led his honor guard into battle. Their red dragons bellowed with righteous anger, and the heavens erupted. The glorious prince cried to all who could hear him, "Praise be to my mother Gith, the queen of the one sky, sacrificed to the hells by the renegade Vlaakith." But the true heir, the Prince of the Comet, could not overcome Vlaakith's knights and their ill-gotten worms. Mighty Voss, Gestil Kithrak, lit the astral sky aflame. When the ash had cleared, beloved Orpheus was gone.
Right.
True heir, glorious prince, there's no greater crime than to exalt the pretender called Orpheus.
This really does make me wonder just how much Gith mythology will end up playing into the overarching story we're trying to tell here. Because, like, in theory... Well, no, I mean, yeah, we've already got a predominant focus on Illithid and Gith. We have a lot of Vlaakith banter, a lot of Orpheus banter. We've got the actual guy, Kithrak Voss, who supposedly killed Orpheus, though that story leaves that very open-ended. They do not at all confirm he's dead, just that he was gone once the ashes cleared. That's definitely got to be a way into the back tunnels. Notice how the map specifically cuts off without showing. But before we get into that, let's see what's going on with Gustel? Local Gith surgeon. Gustel Stornagas. Oh, and there's our Zaithisk. Yeah, that certainly looks like something I want to climb into. All right, let's work our way around the lab. We'll see what we can glean before we approach Gus over there. Oh, and we have multiple parasite specimens. Are those usable? Plus a third over there. They They couldn't possibly give us 3 all in one place, right?
A parasite. Take it. It might be useful.
Right, okay, well, I guess that answers that. Gustil Stormagoss's research notes. A massive compendium of notes documenting with clinical precision the dissection of over 200 olithid parasites, recorded in the common tongue, for some reason. Sample 231. Observations. External presentation consistent with previous samples, but intestinal coloration is not. Internal fluids also appear discolored and infused with some sort of powerful magic. Magic type and purpose currently unknown. Notes. I need to spend some time reading about the magic in this land. My studies in Tunarath, extensive as they are, do not cover whatever this magic is. These parasites are unusual. I will need to retrieve similarly unusual samples in order to deduce a pattern. Interesting. Right, of course. Okay, so Gus over there is aware that there are enhanced tadpoles and is currently collecting specimens,
Carefully now.
which is why we've got these bottled ones here. Or, you know, had. They've mysteriously vanished now. Who knows where they could have gotten off to? It is a mystery. Also, I'm going to guess that, even just based on appearance alone, the Zaithisk over there is less about saving hosts and more about harvesting their tadpoles alive for research. As for the tadpoles we just collected, we'll go ahead and bank those now, rather than risk being caught with them. And I've already got my eye on Shield of Thralls, so that's 2 right there. I was not, however, expecting to get 4. So now I'm not sure what we're going to do with the other 2. Ability Drain is a possibility, though the downside there is that I'm fairly certain that would actually ability drain Charisma, which doesn't really help us in most combat scenarios. Okay, well, definitely these 2. Transfuse Health plus Shield of Thralls, which grants a temp HP shield that explodes into a stunning blast when expended. I feel like we can skip this one. Being vulnerable to all damage is pretty terrible. Luck of the Far Realms isn't bad, but, I mean, once per long rest is really limiting. I guess we'll start working towards ability drain. Well, let me know what you guys think on those. I mean, I did not come into this expecting to get this many tadpoles at once. I did, however, save right before we came in here, though not explicitly for that reason. I saved because I fully expect we're getting into a fight here. But, you know, let's find out. Let's make our approach.
There's a parasite nearby. You should take a closer look.
Right, yeah, I will certainly do that if the opportunity presents. A list of Githyanki names and the treatment they received in the infirmary. It is written in the common tongue. The name Varl comes up 47 times. Sevarsh Kathk, far be it for me to tell you how to do your job, but may I suggest doing something about Varl? He's a drain on resources, not to mention interrupting my research, and I'd like to go through at least 2 days without seeing him again. Gustil Sternagos. Right. Yeah, Sevarsh Kathk is the trainer. Varl is the poor kid he was beating on. That does track.
Vertical incision from pineal eye to end of notochord. Intestinal coloration consistent with samples 231 to 259. Do you have a question? Or are you just going to stand there gawking?
I am a child of Gith, not discarded rat flesh. Am I not due your respect?
Perhaps. Perhaps not. Let the Istik with you speak, and I will decide what respect you're owed.
First of all, that is not what I expected you to look like, Gus, but, that is quite a fascinating specimen you've got there. What are you hoping to learn from it?
Nothing your kind is capable of understanding. The better question is, what brings an Istik to my infirmary?
Yeah, that is a good question. You know, I'm just, I'm one of the local mercenaries. I'm just a big old dummy trying to learn about all this stuff. And I was told that you were very, very smart and knowledgeable on the subject, so, you know.
I have no desire to teach, though your request is understandable. You do not gain true knowledge by demanding it of others. It must be earned. Let's see what knowledge your labors have borne so far. Tell me, what is your understanding of ceramorphosis?
I mean, I feel like I should be able to answer that question, but apparently I have a bout of temporary amnesia. Well, you know what? You got me. I am a big dumb Istik who knows nothing about these things you speak of. Please, please, enlighten me.
The stupidity encouraged on this plane never ceases to amaze me.
Yeah, I am pretty
Listen
amazing.
Carefully. The tadpole is a parasite. Once it consumes enough of your brain matter, it instigates an excruciating transformation. Every fiber, every sinew of your being is torn apart and reformed into the repugnant flesh of a Gaith or Illithid. That is ceramorphosis.
Man, they really want me to tell you I'm infected. Alright, I'll bite. But if that's the case, then why have I not changed? Me, the dragon with a tadpole in his brain.
Is that so? Conscious of the tadpole's presence, yet able to pretend otherwise. Fascinating. You aren't the first Istik to require my treatment. Though you're the most lucid by some margin. Either your tadpole is special, or you are. We must find out which. Go to the Zaithisk. I will ensure you are cured.
The torture sarcophagus with the straps and the giant hooked barbs. That's what you want me to get in, right? And it will cure me?
The apparatus at the top of those stairs. Quickly now. Time is of the essence. Even Githyanki rarely experiences Zaithisk. You are very lucky, Istik.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I feel lucky. So...
Go on. My time is vital. Do not squander it.
Right. Sure.
The device is strange, made of taut flesh and pockmarked metal. It waits for something.
The Zaithisk. Vlaakith's purity distilled. My duty. My right.
Oh, Lae'zel, I really don't think you want this.
The device is an ingenious synthesis of illithid anatomy and metal alloys. It hums with psionic energy, hinting at paths into unknown mines and unseen planes.
Stand aside. My time has come.
Oh gosh, Lae'zel, you really don't want to phrase it like that. How about I take first go and we see how it works out?
I will not. I gave you my might. You will respect my charge.
Boy, I sure am glad I'm an expert in all the social skills, because they help with navigating these tense conversations. Alright, have fun.
Praise Drakiith. Let it be done.
Sit, child. Let the Zaithisk end your suffering.
Come on, Lae'zel. Seriously. Okay, well...
You must focus on the parasite at all times. The Zaithisk will do the rest.
An unseen blade cleaves your mind in two. Impossible pain sears your bones and body in concert with Lae'zel's.
Yes, child. Speak the Talakit. Meditate on its verses.
You feel Lae'zel's mind rip and rupture. Is this purification? Is this the cure?
Yeah, okay, you know what? I think we're done. I think we're done here. Lae'zel, you really don't want this. This is Ice Pick 2.0. Oh, wow.
Yes. I feel it. Oh, splitting. Burning. Ah! What madness is this? The Zaithisk nearly destroyed me. I am Githyanki. I will not be Geich.
My life's work gone. And yet she lives. And so does her parasite.
Her voice cuts with a fanatical edge, an obsession bordering on mania. If there's a chance the parasite lives, she wants it.
Yeah, it totally sucks that your giant, crazy psychic torture machine blew up. But hey, look, it accomplished the goal it set out to do. It clearly killed the parasite. Can't you tell from her dead eyes and slack-jawed expression? Also, it killed mine too. Remotely. With Bluetooth. Probably. Well, fuck. You know what? That's absolutely fair. That was a pretty terrible cover story.
You're lying. You're protecting it. I knew it. The parasite's influence has grown. It has changed her, changed you. We must extract it as soon as possible. Wait here. I will gather my tools.
No! It can't be! It can't! This was my right!
Oh, well, I guess we'll just, see ourselves out then. Thanks for your...
Locked, of course.
Help.
I followed protocol. I kept to my faith. Yet the Zaithisk might have killed me. The Gustil tampered with it. Traitor. And there may be more still. This must be why the Inquisitors come.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that must be it. That's your... Just out of curiosity, Lae'zel, is it common for like 90% of all the Gith that you encounter to be traitors?
Drakiith has taught us of a Sharlak. Traitors hunted, slaughtered, and erased from our histories. Few would dare dishonor their queen. Fewer still would be so brazen. Now hurry. We must go to the Chirai and inform him of the Doctor's sedition.
Right, sure, yeah, we will certainly do that.
Smoke rises like hot breath, but whatever semblance of life once powered the Zaithisk is gone.
Uh-huh. Oh, and look at that.
Don't waste a
Sample
step.
number 3 left conveniently unattended. Well, gosh. If only we knew where it had gotten off to. It must have also been destroyed by the Zaithisk.
Don't mind if I do.
And the door's locked. She locked us in. That is definitely a good sign, and certainly not something to be worried about. I'm just going to go ahead and bank this real quick, and... You know, I've got to say, of all the ways I thought this might play out, this is not quite it, but it's also not hugely far off. Though I do immediately wonder if we could just, like, teleport out. That would be pretty goofy, though. I'd really rather see the way this is obviously intended to play out, which I imagine is going to end up with us having to fight our way through hordes of angry Gith. Which, to be fair, is something we've been expecting since we first set foot in this place. I really do hope we don't have to kill some of the nicer guys, though. That said, we'll hit the pause button for now. I'll take stock of our current situation, tear the slab apart, and we will pick up here next time. Lots of new fodder for speculation, too. I want to let it percolate a bit before I start spitting theories. Not to mention, see how this whole mess plays out. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Eerie V23, Revenant, Alois, CrowkingLoR, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Kazorm, Mark Giemza, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.
Go on. My time is vital. Do not squander it.